Mitch Stott, we find ourselves here at Shadyside Dragway for the final battle of 2017 in the Southeast Gasser Association.
David, that we are, brother, and the battle of points between A-Gas and D-Gas has already been settled. However, C-Gas, that is where the battle lies. 3 competitors are capable of leaving here today with that C-Gas championship, David.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tight battle between Doug Dobbins, Jerry Burch, and Rusty Samson, and I can't wait to see the action. The fans are here. The tension is thick. We can cut it with a knife.
That it you can, David, and as you were just saying, the fans are ready to go racing, and so are we. This is going to be one for the record books.
Starting out with highlights of D-Gas round number 1, Travis Oden in the Born to Boogie taking on Doug Caps.
David, this is round 1, Born to Boogie, old 55 Chevrolet down out of the Georgia area. Doug Caps in this little Mustang. You know, this right here should be a good little battle. These 2 cars are paired pretty well evenly. Neither of these guys have made a lot of rounds in Southeast Gassers, but this is going to be one of them's good, solid first round win at the battle at Shadyside.
Big red light catches Travis Owen as he knew he needed everything to catch Doug Caps right there.
And Doug Caps and that Mustang, wheels in the air and gone he is.
And at this event, the final event for the 2017 at Shadyside Dragway, Gordy Faust. This guy has a resume that you cannot sit down and read in less than 30 minutes. His history dates back into the 60s in the early days of drag racing on up through pro stock and then pro modified. He's been involved in basically every aspect of drag racing that there is, and not only involved but successfully involved. Gordy, I can't tell you, buddy, what an honor it is to have you with us today and to have you as Grand Marshal, you and one of my best old friends, Wally Bell, escorting you around.
Yeah, you got that right. And it's an honor to be here. Believe me, especially to be selected to be Grand Marshal for this race. And I drove down the pit road there a while ago in front of the stands, and man, this place is packed.
That it is, Gordy. You know, we draw a great crowd. We're 2,000 and 3,000 spectators at every event we go to, but it's because this is such a pure and original show. 4 speeds and wheel stands, you just don't get no better than that.
That's right. My wife and I went to the Knoxville show, and we were really super impressed. And it was elbow to elbow there. I couldn't believe how many people was there.
Well, for you, with all of your history, for you to be impressed, then we know we're doing something right. And again, we'll be looking for you down on the starting line at the start of this event as Grand Marshal. And again, what an honor it is. For one final time, at least for now, we're catching up with Todd Oden, D-Gas champion beyond question for the 2017 season. I was just talking with Todd, and I let him know, or asked him, did he realize that he could have thrown away not only his one worst race, which the rules stipulate, but he could have thrown away basically his 2 best races and still won the championship. Now that is a dominating season. This has got to be one satisfying race for you, coming in here, knowing that it's over and it's done, and this one's just for fun.
It is. I'm so proud to have that pressure off of me, and just to be able to come here, relax, have a great time, and just race and enjoy the family and all the other competitors, spend some time with the fans. It's great, wonderful.
Well, you know, we had one guy, one nemesis this year, Josh Pruitt, and you know, we got to give credit where credit's due. He done what we were starting to call the unthinkable, and he took you out in the finals, which couldn't have been more dramatic. And not only that, but he collected the money that was looking like it was going to be yours. But nonetheless, what a season D-Gas presented to all of the fans. And to have you on top, guys, I'm telling you, it's been something to watch.
Well, we've enjoyed it, and I thank you, and I thank all the fans of Quain, all the people that compete against us. And I just can't say how blessed we are and how much fun this is. If anybody's ever thought of doing this, they need to come do it. It is awesome.
Continuing on the highlights, there's the aforementioned Todd Oden taking on Jerry Napier out of Oliver Springs, Tennessee.
Jerry Napier out of that Napier race team family, David, taking on Todd Oden. Jerry hasn't raced with us, I don't think. I believe this is his first race. I'm not real sure if he knows exactly what he's up against with Todd Oden or not, but if he doesn't, this is going to be a race to where If he wins, talk about the upset of the day.
Saw one of our special fans getting to sit right down there in the middle. He's really excited about this matchup, and I am too in the first round right here. Let's see if the sheriff can take out old Double X.
Well, you know, Double X, he's just going to come in there as the outlaw when it comes to the sheriff, and the sheriff went red.
Red is dead in any form of drag racing, and there Todd Oden marches on to round number 2.
With me today is the caretakers of this 1857 Napoleon cannon, David Bauer, Bobo, Boo Boo. I will get it right in a minute, Boo Boo. Boo Boo Bauer, that is, David's wife, and now Benny Campbell. Benny, I understand that you were good friends with Boo Boo's father who actually built this cannon. What an honor and a pleasure it is to have this thing out here. And I understand that we're going to do the national anthem here in a little bit, as we always do, the Southeast Gasser Association. And then we're going to let Dad hear this thing fire one more time.
That's right, exactly. David's going to fire it. We're going to go for it.
You should only be here to hear it, because video does it no justice.
Back to action on highlights of Degas right here. Justin Wilson out of the Skull Garage taking on Dane Robertson the first time with us.
David Dane Robinson, an old friend of mine, no doubt about it. One of the great guys up in Kentucky. He has raced a little bit of everything in drag racing. Here he has got put in the seat of this 55 Chevrolet, and I'm expecting him to do well. He, as you said, up against Justin over here. These guys, neither one of them really a winner with us, so let's find out who it's going to be in this first round.
Wheels up for Dane Robertson, and he jumps out to a big hole shot advantage right there. Going to drive that on to victory, and what a good-looking 55 he's driving.
That it is. Don't know what was going on with Justin back there. He looked like he had some sort of a problem. Not sure what it was.
Cynthia Phillips with a new power plant under the hood, taking on Ricky Barnes out of Ringgold, Georgia.
Ricky Barnes, he has been with us for a long time. He comes to just about every race, whether he's got his race car with him or not. A really cool guy, been around motorsports forever. Got some cool 57 Chevrolet he drives on the street. This is going to be a good race. Cynthia needs to win this round, David. She has been out here. She's gaining ground. She's getting better. She really needs this. New engine, new carburetors in this car. Let's see what kind of horsepower it has.
Good lead right there for Cynthia. Looks like Ricky stumbles just a little bit on that 1-2 shift, and Cynthia just drives away. Saw a great shot earlier of Klein stepping right in and giving her a little bit of advice there. Got to think that helped, and what a big smile that put on Klein Stott's face.
Absolutely. Up next, Michael Tucker going against Steve Helms in the Pucker Time 55 Chevrolet. Good shot inside that old Falcon or Comet right there. See the mechanical parts of these race cars and what goes on with them. This, again, should be a good classic Ford Chevrolet drag race, David.
Yeah, Tucker out of Jonesville, South Carolina. You got Steve Helms and his family out of Denver, North Carolina, and can't wait to see the action on this Pucker Time.
Here they get ready to go, and off they are. Comet out first. Don't know what's going to happen. Ford has the advantage at this point. Looking to me like he's going to carry it on through.
Yeah, Michael Tucker taking his first round victory right there in Degas competition in Southeast Gassers this year, but look at that. A good race Helms put up with him. Look at the crowd right there. You just see they loving the action. Brings up John Gilligan out of Cincinnati, Ohio, taking on another northern runner with us, Tony Zampata out of Chicago, Illinois.
David, no question, Tony readjusting his steering wheel over there. I don't know that I'd recommend this at that point in the game, but there's one thing. Southeast Gassers may pull racers all the way from Chicago, as Tony is, but as you was just mentioning, that crowd, I can promise you, there's more people here than they are in Shelby, North Carolina, so we've pulled them from everywhere. Red light on the 57 Chevrolet. Tony Zampata going to take the win down, and there's a win for Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago takes out one of our winners at our Indiana race, at our Lions Indiana race, John Gilligan, who was the winner there. So a good pass also with those wheels in the air. Ronnie Lineberger out of Denver, North Carolina, going to take on a neighbor down the road, Rick Davis, coming to us out of Concord, North Carolina.
These two guys live close together, and I'm going to tell you something. Both of these guys are good friends of mine. Rick, Ronnie, both of them, you couldn't ask for any better elder statesmen of the sport than what we got right here. Two good classic Chevrolets up for battle. It's going to be a race to watch. Again, I like both of these guys. I would have a hard time pulling either way. as I always try to remain neutral, but look at Ronnie's launch, wheels up, and here comes Rick right behind him.
Rick trying to run him down right there in that beautiful 62, I think it is, but unable to do so as Ronnie Lineberger takes the victory over his friend Rick Davis. And my correction, he's from Monroe, North Carolina, not Concord.
That is correct. Josh Pruitt, the last race winner at Myrtle Beach and the man to take the bounty away from Todd Oden. This guy may not be the fastest on the racetrack, but he is $400 richer. You can bet on that. Now, David, this race right here is critical because, as we have said before, the points in Degas may be wrapped up with Todd Oden, but Josh Pruitt still has a point to prove that he may not be the points winner, but he is a solid number 2 finisher, which he is, and a champion by all rights.
Looks like Nathan Cate leaves early before the tree really gets activated. Don't know what's going on there, just a miscue on his part. There you see Josh Pruitt staying put, a lesson that I think he learned in Knoxville, Tennessee.
That is correct, David. Those Josh Pruitt, they fell victim to a similar situation in Tennessee, at our race in Tennessee, a mistake that I don't think he'll ever make again.
One of the things that the Southeast Gassers Association holds most dear to its heart is the father and son race teams. And there's none any better or closer than that of Dan and James Byrd of the obsolete 2 Chevy 2 that races in Seagas. With that being said, I just wanted to catch up with these guys for a minute and kind of find out what exactly they find in the Southeast Gassers Association. So Dan, what draws you to the Southeast Gassers?
Well, one thing that draws me, and I think it's the most important thing, is we're all like family. And when I'm away from here, I miss you guys. I miss everybody here. I can't wait to get back and see everybody. And that's just the first part. And then, of course, the racing, I enjoy doing the racing and everything, but it's just a camaraderie between all of us. And it's just, I miss it so much. And it's Klein and you and the people that run it. I have all the confidence in the world, and I'm just thankful to be here, Mitch. I just appreciate every bit of it.
Well, you know, we will accept that confidence, but I would tell you to use that with caution. James, I mean, from your perspective, you're here. What satisfaction do you get out of the Southeast Gassers in any aspect of it?
I guess the best thing I get out of it is getting to do what Daddy did in the 60s. I'm getting to live what he lived in pretty much the same aspect because the cars are just like they were, you know, and it's just great to be here with a group of guys like this, and this organization is just tremendous.
Well, I can only say, Dan, James, you know, we're honored to have you guys. We're so happy to have you, and yes, we miss y'all when you ain't here, so we want to see you at all the races next year,
try to be our
and
best.
we are certainly pleased anytime you roll through the gate. So good luck today, Godspeed to both of you, and
too.
we
You
look
too.
forward to seeing you in 2018.
I hope so, Lord willing.
On to Seagas highlights. There's Danny Byrd in the Junkyard Dog out of Sykeston, Missouri, taking on Ripley, Tennessee's James Byrd.
David, just had a conversation with Dan and James Byrd. What a great father-son team they are. Great people. I mean, you just don't find no better. And they travel to come to these races. You know, they're so dedicated to the Southeast Gassers Association and its mission. Danny Byrd, on the other hand, leaving wheels in air and just pulling away, David.
Yeah, tough matchup for James Byrd right there in the first round. What a beautiful lead by both cars. Danny Byrd getting them up in the air and driving that Junkyard Dog on through the top end.
And up next, Jimmy Huff. I tell you, Jimmy is running strong today. And Larry Noel, him and his wife Sandy, this should be a really good race. Again, that classic Ford Chevrolet matchup, David.
Yeah, Jimmy's been working real hard thrashing on that car, trying to get some bugs worked out of it, and today could be the day for him. There you see the beautiful Sandy Noel getting her husband in his tracks, getting him into beams there, getting ready for action.
Both cars stage launched. Larry getting the starting line advantage, having some issue. It looked like maybe not. This is a nose-to-nose. Jimmy Huff driving back around. What a job that was on both cars.
Big hole shot by Larry Noel. Look at the margin of victory, that top end horsepower pulls through.
Rusty, brother, we're just discussing your position in the points and what's got to happen with Doug Dobbins and Jerry Burch coming in tied for first, and technically you third, and you're just 3 rounds behind them, and this could very likely be a 5-round race, which means that you've got to win this race, and they've got to go out by the second round. But, hey, there's always hope in drag racing.
Well, yeah, we're not giving up. We're going to do the best we can. The pressure's off. Nothing can happen bad for me. Only things that can happen will be good. And those guys got all the pressure. It's theirs to lose.
Moving back into Seagas, there's Tim Bailey with the interviewed bad banana himself, Rusty Samson.
David, I was talking with Rusty about, the fact that he really doesn't have anything to lose at this race. He is fixed in third place no matter what happens. The only thing he can do is move up, and that's if he wins. Now, Tim Bailey, last year's champion for Seagas and a race winner back at Darlington a couple of races ago. Rusty won races this year. This is going to be a battle, David, I'm telling you.
Tough first-round draw right there for both cars, but Rusty Samson gets the whole shot. And, man, he is driving that car a little bit out of shape right there is Tim Bailey at the end. But what a great-looking lead by both cars.
No doubt. That was a classic Southeast Gassers drag race, David. Beautiful in every aspect.
Lance Yoakum going to be up next in that beautifully painted 55 Chevy that he has. And he's going to be taking on Tim Bailey's son, Jared Bailey, in that beautiful Hitman car.
David, Lance Yoakum, this is one of the more colorful race cars in the 60s as they were. Just look at that thing. This is an excellent shot of that entire race program, him and his wife. Again, Jared Bailey, the Hitman, another race winner. Lance has really got a challenge on his hands right here. There is nothing slow about that Hitman Studebaker.
Hitman gets the leave on him, pulls a little bit left, straightens it up, but looks like both cars now have him going down the racetrack. Jared Bailey going to march on to victory.
That it is. A little bit of a left turn, left hook there by Jared when he dropped the clutch, but not enough to really upset anything. Power just drove him right on through. In the Southeast Gassers Association, we are always coming across unique people. Now, today is no exception. Unfortunately, we're talking to them right now with a bit of bad luck on their side, but the point is that doesn't affect their character or who they are. Ronnie Santhuff of Santhuff Shocks and Strut fame, a guy who propelled me. I used his components to be the first in the 5s and win championships in Pro Modified. Aside from that, Danny Graham, another racer out of Texas. And here's the thing. These two guys really didn't know each other before the Southeast Gassers. Kind of got to know each other here, but then realized, this is the kicker to the story, then realized that they were in the same unit in the Army. Is that correct?
Vietnam.
In Vietnam, in the Army, and didn't know it until they got here, Southeast Gassers, and talking. While that is an extremely interesting story, and the thousands and thousands of miles these two have traveled around the world to never have met up with each other until they got here. But now we're kind of referring to them as the Texas contingent, and both of them have fell victim to parts breakage. Danny, I understand you went to start the car, lost oil pressure.
That's right. It pumped up, and then I started the car, and it was down. It won't come back.
Well, Texas is a long ways from home. Now, 4 hours away is Ronnie Santhuff, and as I say in Texas, that's across the street. Now, Ronnie, you just had what appears to be a really strong second-round qualifying.
Yes.
But now you've got some clutch issues.
Yeah, it's knocked the disc out of it. It's when you go to engage, it wouldn't disengage when I was down track because probably layers of trash got on top of each other. And then when I finally got it broke loose enough to come on back, well, you go to let the clutch out, and it lunges in places, so it's chewed up. I ruined the clutch.
Right back into Seagas action. There you got Josh Owens in the White Lightning taking on Tim Greer in that Rambler.
Tim Greer in that Bonafide Rambler, David, he's been out a couple of races, had some engine issues going on, went over to Wayne Sless, I think, had a new engine program done for this thing. Good to see Tim back. This car is really showing promise, making power. I think, there's rounds to be made by this thing. He has really done a lot of work to that Rambler over this year from where he started at and where he's at right now. However, he has got to take Josh out, and Josh just done it for him with a red light, but the Rambler's still running strong.
Yeah, good pass by Tim Greer, even though it was on a essentially a bye run right there. Great lead by both cars. Josh just could not hold the line. There you go, Joey Precise out of Missouri. Going to be taking on points leader right here, and a big round for Doug Dobbins.
Doug must win this round, David, to stay in this points battle, because on his heels right now, of course, is Jerry Burch. Now, Joey Precise, the Widowmaker 55, cool car, cool name, but he hasn't got a champion beside him, and here they go down the racetrack. Joey doing wheel stands, Doug Dobbins just going down the racetrack.
And what wheel stands? I mean, he's sitting it on his bumper first, second, and third gear. And Doug Dobbins got that little Chevy 2 going straight down the racetrack. Another
cool shots right there, David. That is awesome.
There you see the margin of victory at the end. Here you go, Adam Lohorn out of Palmyra, Indiana, taking on the Gray Ghost and Dean Harris out of Campobello, South Carolina.
You know, Dean is a local racer for us and one of our favorites, no doubt, one of the faster cars on the circuit. Now, here you got Adam Lohorn, his father, Mike. This car just a few weeks ago was at an event somewhere and literally splattered the front end out of this thing. I was amazed to see them back in competition, but here they are, and you watch this car and you'll understand why. Now, Adam changing gears, pulling it back into the groove. That boy right there is a race car driver, David.
Dean Harris going straight and true, takes the victory, but look at Lohorn out of shape, drives that car through the top end, and look how close that race really was.
I agree that if you win rounds, the championship will take care of itself. But guys, the championship is now has to be fought for, and so I know that you had to at least look over this car one more time before you come to this shop.
You're gonna get everything we got. We're gonna bring the best we can, and if it breaks, we're gonna punish it to try to win this thing. We're gonna do everything we can.
So if you lose the championship, you lost it. And if you win it, you won it.
That's it. No regrets. We're going in with no regrets. It's all or nothing right here.
Well, you heard that from what I refer to as the brain trust of the Burch Racing family. Whether he is or not, it doesn't matter. This is one lethal Chevy 2 and no stranger to the final rounds, and all he's got to do is go one round more than Doug Dobbins.
There you see Jerry Burch in the right-hand lane taking on Zach Hall. Zach out of Bluntwell, Tennessee, got his dad right out in front in that homegrown car.
David, Jerry Burch, I was just having a word with him and Joey. These guys tell me that they are bringing everything they have. If they lose this race, they lose it. If they win it, they win it. And Jerry just made a mistake. The day is over for them, and so is the championship, David.
It's so difficult to see right there. Looks like the car just was trying to get in there and just lunged and rolled through the beam. Such a hard way to lose the chance to win a C-Gas championship. A-Gas Mitch Stott, the kings of the sport, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. That is the Grand Illusion, but it is being driven by Earl McLemore this weekend.
That it is, David. Klein putting somebody else in the car, Earl in this case, looking for someone that can drive this car, race this car, and win some races with it. Klein just being so busy, mind so full at a day's event that he really cannot focus on it. Now, there is Laurel Owen, Gabriel Burrell's lovely lady and backup girl, doing a fine job. Earl pulling up here in that beautiful Grand Illusion 40 Willys. This is a drag race about to take place, and this is an opportunity for Gabriel Burrell to make some rounds also, with Earl being a little bit green in that Willys.
Well, he better be up on that wheel in that Willys, because there's plenty of horsepower under the hood, and there you can see both wheels up.
Good Lord.
Gabriel Burrell looks like he might have got the drop on him a little bit, and he's going to drive that Jimmy Huff horsepower right to victory.
I will just bet you that Jimmy Huff is smiling right now.
Kenneth Phillips, it's the end of 2017. Obviously, this race hasn't been ran yet, and anything can happen. And while you may not be able to win the championship at this point, there's still a race to win today. And tell me, if it wasn't for a couple of the races you had, hardships you had, engine issues, whatever the case may be, I do believe this story might have a different outcome. 2018 in your sights, hot and heavy?
It is. I believe if I'd have done a little better and hadn't had all the trouble, I'd been up there. It wouldn't have just already been down to 1. It'd be against 2. So I'm looking forward to 2018.
Well, I was going over the points earlier, which is why I said, you know, Donovan, obviously, he came here. What he had to do was to at least enter this race to win. But the point is, you've missed 2 races, and you've done that. You said done a little better. You've done great for the races you attended, and that's why I say 2018 has got to be in your sights. I know for the season you've had, if you can just put it all together for next year, this is going to maybe be Kenneth Phillips' championship season.
I hope so. I think the car this year, we got everything worked out. Put the car up and leave it alone, come out next year and be good.
That may be the best thing I've ever heard you say, just leave it alone, because it's certainly fast. Well, congratulations, Kenneth. Great racing with you this year. And as I tell everybody, it's been a show for me to watch. I don't know about everybody else.
It has me too. I thank you.
On the next pair right here, Tony Turner going to take on Kenneth Phillips in that Silver Streak number 2.
David, Tony Turner, this guy, again, he is just so loyal to the Southeast Gassers Association, and what a transformation has been made with that car. Now, Kenneth Phillips in this ultra bad Corvette over here. Fast is not the word. This guy can win a drag race at any location we arrive at. He just seems to be plagued with issues here and there, but this looks like she's going to be a solid run down the racetrack.
Unfortunately, Tony had some problems right there, as he has thrashed so much to get that car back together, had so many friends and car club members help him.
The success has been joyful this year. I mean, if you look back through the first half of this season, I had at least one car, if not both cars, in the final of 8 gas all the way through.
One mark of a good engine builder may be horsepower. The other is dependability and durability. And I'm here to tell you, as Donovan's father, this motor has been abused, and it has never faltered, not one time.
Abused hadn't been the word for this thing. This thing's been on more dynos and more test passes than most cars see in their lifetimes. So, you know, from that standpoint, I want to give the fellows the most power that I can. But yeah, like you said, the dependability has to be there for him.
I can tell you that this guy right here is one to go to for engine building, bar none. And he's an honest, straightforward guy.
And there you see our 2017 world champion, Donovan Stott, in that white trash Anglia, taking on Pawpaw's Benny over here, Steve Davis out of Monroe, North Carolina.
David, that is a good shot of Donovan right there. We're just saying, yes, he is the 2017 A-Gas champion. The lovely Megan Phillips backing him up as she has done so diligently. I tell you, those two right there make a great team. But right now, Donovan, in order to go out of this in winning style, he has got to take out Pawpaw Spinney, and that is not no easy task.
Good launch right there by Donovan. Looks like he gathers it in a little bit in that 1-2 shift. Pawpaw Spinney going to give up a good fight, but Donovan Stott will march on to victory here in round 1.
Just look at that little Anglia dancing and yanking and pulling. I tell you, that thing requires some steering wheel turning.
In the 2015 season, David Gregg had recently purchased a 33 Willys, one of the coolest race cars in all of Gasser racing, and certainly the Southeast Gasser deal. Good Vibrations, it was called. Unfortunately for David, at the final event of 2015, David's Good Vibrations really weren't so good. The car, he experienced some kind of an issue with handling, control, whichever way you want to say it. The car took a very nasty crash and T-boned straight into a concrete wall. The good news is David walked away unscathed, as well as big and old drag racers that just seem to never die. David, I understand this car is coming back for a resurrection.
Yeah, it's been a little slow coming. I've been doing most of the work myself, and with the work schedule I've had, it's been kind of slow, but I'm close. I should be back in the spring. Made some improvements. It's going to look like it did. It's going to be hopefully look a little better even, but I'm ready to come back.
Sonny Hall out of Bristol, Tennessee, going to take on Jeff Jacobson. Good to see him back from Beloit, Wisconsin.
You know, if you kind of figure out who's the farthest from here, buddy, you can bet it is Jeff Jacobson. No question, these guys have got plenty of time to talk about what their race strategy is going to be going and coming to these events. Sonny Hall, one of our greatest statesmen in the Southeast Gassers in that Sunshine Express. Let me tell you, this should be a good drag race, but pulling sticks right now, I've got to go with the scare lane. I do, and Sonny Hall, I don't know. Sonny leaving, not sure what happened there, but leaving before the tree was activated.
Jacobson going to give him a good hard run and run it through, keeping those wheels on the ground. He's spinning down low, but he gets that 1-2 shift a little quick so he can get that car down the racetrack and hustle it down.
In the world of drag racing, there are few names greater than that of Gene Cromer. And Gene Cromer has blessed us for the last 3 or 4 years, I believe, Gene, coming out here and racing with the Southeast Gassers and the old Moonlighter that's been so faithfully recreated. Right. But the big story here, I think, is the fact that you and this lovely lady, Ruth, have been married for 66 years. And that's what I kind of wanted to point out, is the love and all of the things, the God-loving people that are in the Southeast Gassers Association. And just say thank you so much for both of you for being a part of this and coming out and sharing a part of your lives with us.
Thank you. She's been a good lady.
I would certainly second that motion. And Ruth, you told me earlier you don't want to say anything, and I understand that, but you could at least say, I think, that this old feller here, he's your man.
He's just fine.
He's just fine.
I'm going to keep him.
Well, I don't blame you. I'm pretty fond of him, too. Again, guys, thank you so much.
And there you see Land O'Lakes, Florida's Alan Gaulden going to take on the Moonlighter, Mr. Gene Cromer.
David just talking with Gene and his lovely wife, Ruth, 66 years of marriage, and how we have been blessed with these type of folks in the Southeast Gassers Association. You just don't get no better. Now, here's Alan Gaulden driving that beautiful Corvette, being backed up by Phil Roberts. And let me tell you something, Phil Roberts is another one of those guys that has been extremely successful in tuning all kinds of drag race winning entries. Now, this event here, Alan won our last event. Can he do it here? But first, he's got to get past the godfather of Gassers, Gene Cromer.
Alan coming in there, going to get staged up here in just a second. There we go. We're ready for action. Alan Gaulden with a big hole shot right there. And look at that 61 Corvette shimmy down there toward the end, blowing the leaves off the top end.
That it was, David. Alan having to get a good grip on that steering wheel as he progressed down the racetrack. That car starting to hug the guardrail, as you can see. Leaves are blowing. You can tell it is fall of the year.
You just never know who you might find wandering through the pit area of a Southeast Gassers Association event. And here, one of the standouts has got to be C.T. Cromer, one of the major standouts, heavy hitters of the 60s of the local drag racing scene. Mr. Cromer, what brings you out today?
My friend, Gene Cromer. He's the reason I'm here today. He's a true friend. He is the statue of the racing industry, as far as I'm concerned, drag racing industry.
Oh, absolutely. I refer to him occasionally as the godfather of the Gassers. Absolutely. You know, that's certainly where he cut his teeth. Right. And now, I understand you guys raced against each other a little bit back in the day.
Back in the day, we never raced together. We went together everywhere because I ran pro class, and I ran against Ed Skeleton. Right. And Gene there was an A-gas meet, usually when there's a pro stock meet there at the same time. But there's never been a person that compared to Gene. Not in the day of protesting. Back in those days, he never protested one time, the whole time. He's a gentleman.
Well, there's no doubt, and I had the great pleasure of having a little quick interview with him and his wife Ruth down there. They've been married 66 years, and that was basically the purpose of that story, is to showcase two of the greatest people I know, be it drag racing or anything else. But CT, glad you came out. A great pleasure to see you out here, and it's an honor to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Back into A-Gas, there's Gary Klein in the Tasmanian Devil. What a beautiful race car burning out right there. Taking on Justin Moses out of Brazelton, Georgia, and he's sure to please on a burnout.
That he is. Burnout, tire smoke, doesn't matter. Just the sheer look of that car is very pleasing to me, David. And there is Jenny Moses. And they were celebrating their child's first birthday this weekend, and they were spreading out free birthday cake all over the place. Now, back to racing. Tasmanian Devil, old Gary Klein, one of my childhood heroes. Has he got what it takes to put Justin on the trailer?
Tasmanian Devil gets a big launch off the starting line and a whole shot advantage. Man, he's driving that thing straight on through Gary Klein on to round number 2.
That he is, and hugging the center line. The closer he gets down the racetrack, he better be careful with that, because it was about last year when he tried to climb the guardrail. Now, Ben Christopher taking on Barry Lynn. David, this right here, this old big wagon, 427.
Whoa, look at Ben
Look at
Christopher.
that.
Dry hop drove him straight to the wall.
A lot of times these guys are up here doing this, trying to figure out, as these cars need it, an indication of how and where to leave at. That right there is one that Ben does not want to reproduce, I can promise you.
Both cars on the line now. Going to be a good one right here as Christopher gets it straight. There's the launch. Christopher goes toward the wall again, misses that 1-2 shift, and Barry Lynn doesn't miss a shift at all as he drives on to victory. He and Christopher are still battling the gremlins in that race car. Kelvin Cannon in that 48 Thames panel van going to be taking on Cynthia Phillips in the flower pile.
David, Kelvin Cannon, past race winner, super neat car, recreation of the Mr. Gasket panel. And now we've got the flower power up here, Cynthia Phillips. She's won a round. She's got that first round jinx out from under her. She's looking now to make rounds. Got some new horsepower under the hood of this car. They put new engine, new carburation. This thing should be a lethal race winning machine today, David.
And Kelvin's sitting there, got Christy backing him in, so both are in the beams, getting ready to get staged is Cynthia Phillips.
Cynthia a little bit late coming in. I know that the crew chief for her.
Wow, what a whole shot advantage by Kelvin Cannon. And Cynthia Phillips going to have to try to run him down, and does.
Look at the whole shot advantage by Kelvin, and as you said, David, Cynthia taking the win, driving back by him. I'm going to bet you one thing, that old Tom White, crew chief in that car, is jumping off the ground right now.
Look at that margin of victory. Man, that was close.
Cynthia Phillips, when you're kind of new to drag racing, every event has the potential to be filled with milestones, and this one is no different. This is your first time, second round win. How does that feel?
Wonderful. I did not expect to do that here. I'm still so nervous I can't even hardly talk. But I did it. Now, I got second round behind me. Look forward to third round, see what happens there.
Well, you had a good racer, a past race winner in Kelvin Cannon, so it wasn't necessarily a gimme, so you won that round. So good job. I mean, that's, from my standing, third round may well just be in the bag too, and maybe that new motor is doing you some good job.
Motor and carburetor's excellent. Driver, doing much better, but I still have some learning.
There you see Tony Zampata in that beautiful Bell Conklin Henry J out of Chicago, Illinois, taking on Alfred Adams out of Clover, South Carolina.
David, Alfred Adams, kind of a sleeper here. This car's just come along of recent, but now back to Tony Zampata. These guys travel from Chicago. They run these races. They're loyal to us. Again, how blessed we are to have such good racers that are willing to, to join in with the mission of preserving this drag racing history. Now, David, Tony Zampata, a good launch, wheels in the air, but that may have cost him the race. Looked like it caused him some trouble.
Yeah, it caused him a little trouble to get out of line right there. But that car, a original gasser, he found that car, and what a beautiful car it is. But Alfred Adams just runs right by him in that 55 and moves on to round number 3.
There again, a launch from the side. You can see both cars launching. I mean, so unique to the 4-speed, drag racing that we do. Josh Pruitt, Youngblood, Michael Tucker, and the Soul Shaker, the Comet versus the Falcon. This is going to be a good Ford-on-Ford race, David. This one here, you can't lose. This one's for the Ford fans right here.
Yeah, I'm a big Blue Oval man, so this one's going to be a great one. I think I'll ride with Josh Pruitt on this one. But definitely that Soul Shaker making round 2 here today has definitely helped his morale a great deal.
I would certainly agree to that. Anytime you start making rounds, especially the last race of the season, it gives you that confidence builder over the winter and said, I can do this. I can win a race. And so here they are. It's time to put that thought to the test. Both of these cars pulling up, one of Soul Shaker pre-stage, Josh pre-stage. Here they go. It is time. Both in, lights on, and Soul Shaker had a little stumble leaving the starting line.
Yeah, looks like Pruitt got the advantage on the starting line with a great wheels-up leave right there, and moves on to round number 3, does the Youngblood, Josh Pruitt.
Josh showing what he has used to win races with in the past. He's won 2 races this year. It looked like he may be on the way to a third. Ronnie Lineberger, good old friend, the bow tie buzzard, taking on Double X. I tell you what, 2 big old race cars right here, David.
And there you see Lester Todd's dad in the background. He doesn't leave that box until Dad tells him to.
That's exactly right. Todd has learned to follow Dad's direction here, Dad being a long-time drag racer involved in performance, and it really shows in the XX58 Chevrolet. What a team they are. Ronnie Lineberger, wheels high and hugging that concrete rail.
Yeah, that thing moved hard on him to the left, as we're going to see a good shot of it in this view right here. And that's all Todd Oden needed with that whole shot he got, and he drives on to victory.
58 Chevrolet doing what it does, and that is just winning drag racing.
Knocking around that Alky Digger sign right there. Got to make sure that stays up. Alky Digger, one of our good sponsors in the Southeast Gassers. Dane Robinson back for round number 2 in that 55 Strictly Business Chevrolet, taking on Doug Capps in the 65 Mustang.
I have been a friend of Dane for a long time, and I tell you what, I'm so glad to see him competing with us. Now, Doug Capps, this 65 Mustang, I believe it is, David, I think he bought this car from
Rick Cathcart.
Rick Cathcart, which runs the Studebaker truck now. You know, this Mustang has been a fixture for us in the Southeast Gassers Association. Dane taking his time moving this 55 Chevrolet into the beams. You know, this is red. Dane is ready. He's waiting on Doug. Let's see how this race plays out.
Wheels up lead by both drivers, pretty even off the line. Doug Capps has a good 1-2 or shift right there, and he takes the victory right here over Dane Robinson. But I got to think, Mitch, we're going to see more out of Dane as he gets more seat time in these old straight axle gassers.
Absolutely, I do believe you're right, because like I said, these cars were so close going down the racetrack. This one was literally won right there in the traps, David.
There he is, the man that's been on a tear NC gas. That's Rusty Samson taking on the Junkyard Dog, and I'm telling you, that banana better hope he throws out a banana peel to make Mr. Byrd slip up right here.
That very well could be true, David. You know, Danny Byrd is certainly got a performance advantage over the bad banana, but I have seen Rusty Samson and that bad banana pull things out of the thin air in the past. Rusty told me one time, he said, you know, this old car just seems to stand up when I need it most. And right there is another case. Rusty needs to win this race. Danny Byrd just making a mistake and giving it to him. Maybe it's just the omen of that old 55 Chevrolet.
And it kind of looked like the same thing that happened to Jerry Burch earlier. He just kind of lunged a little bit and rolled through the lights. So uncommon thing for both of those cars as we move on to Todd Blackwell in the slingshot, and he's going to be racing Robert Frazier in the black and blue Barracuda.
That he is, David, in that shot there. We just seen Ethan Gilbert and his wife, which is the daughter of Mike Blackwell and the sister of Todd, doing the lineup duties up there now. Here we got, as you said, Robert Frazier, the black and blue Cuda. Greatest people in racing, and I understand that his wife had a ageless 29th birthday this week, so congratulations to Rita Frazier on that. Happy birthday. Now to racing. Here we go. It is Robert feeling the pressure of having to leave on time against Todd Blackwell and going red, baby.
Just took it too thin right there in the slingshot. Reputation precedes itself.
You know, last year we were talking and I was up top 3, and I got my day spoiled by somebody coming taking me out early. So, you know, if I can get up there with them, and I do have a car to take 1 or 2 of them out maybe, I can probably change this points deal. We just have to see.
Well, if that were to fall in Rusty Sampson's favor, I'm betting he would really be sending you a Christmas card.
Seagas Doug Dobbins with another huge round here, and no slouch here in Dean Harris in the Gray Ghost.
David, you know, Doug has got to win this round. This round right here, if he wins, and you can see Jerry Burch in the background watching him, Jerry going red in the first round, dashing his chances at a championship. I'm sure at this point he is hoping the best for Doug. Now, as I was saying, Doug has to win this round to secure the championship. Doesn't mean he's lost it if he doesn't win this round, but what it does mean, if he does win this round, he cannot lose it to Rusty Samson, which is on a holy terror this weekend with that bad banana 55. Dean Harris, as we was just talking with him, he can be the spoiler. He can be the man that takes out Doug Dobbins and maybe receives a Christmas card from Rusty Samson.
Just a little bit late on the tree right there, as you see Dobbins with a slight advantage on the tree, and that's going to take him to victory right here in a very close drag race as these two beautiful race cars get down this Shadyside Dragway.
That, David, they do, and you cannot be late with Doug Dobbins. Dean wasn't necessarily late, but he wasn't ahead of him, and it shows right there.
Doug Dobbins, it's official, brother. 2017 Seagas Championship. It is in the books, and nothing can change it.
Well, it has sunk in. Did you hear me scream when y'all pulled off?
Well, I didn't hear you scream, but that's okay.
Well, it sunk in right after y'all pulled off.
So I was the official bearer of good news.
That's exactly right. And, man, I'm telling you what's truth. To outrun a bunch of guys like this and come home champion, it don't get no better.
No doubt about it. Earlier, Doug, we was talking about the fact that I said I can't guarantee you'll live through the day, but you will go down in history as a Seagas champion. And standing next to you is one of the greatest competitors that Seagas ever had, Rusty Samson. Rusty, buddy, you know, the championship just wasn't there, but you was there all the way.
Yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. We had them scared all year. That was my goal. We got a car that's way heavier than everybody else, and pretty old technology on it. It's still a threat, and that's pretty good for me. I'll take that.
Jimmy Huff out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, going to take on Zach Hall in that homegrown 1957 Chevy.
David, yes, and I was just having that conversation with Doug Dobbins and Rusty Samson up there, and reminding Doug that he just became the 2017 Seagas champion. Now, Jimmy Huff, this old hoopty wagon buddy has come alive at this race. Let me tell you, it is putting down power and numbers like we have never seen out of it before. On the other side of the lane, he got that big 427 powered homegrown 57 Chevrolet, and I do believe, David, the Ford has powered away.
Jimmy Huff, all that work and all that hours is really paying off right here in this last race of the year. Good lead by both cars, a picturesque wheels in the air. Look at that.
And you could see Jimmy Huff's car just digging, spinning that tire, digging, trying to get out of shape.
We didn't fire this motor till yesterday morning. Me and my dad fired it yesterday morning before we came. And it had no time on it when I got here.
Well, you know, there again, Jimmy, we'll be look like you may be making rounds today, so we'll be here waiting on you.
All right, yes, sir.
There we go. There's Ernie Smith, the hired gun in that one gone dog. And there he is, Tim Greer in the world's fastest Rambler from Roebuck.
And that he is, David, the bona fide, taking on the one gone dog. Both these vehicles out of the Spartanburg, South Carolina area. And I tell you, Chevrolet versus Rambler. Hard to figure out where the Rambler fits in that Ford Chevrolet kind of situation. But Rambler had some performance history to them, David, no question about it. Now, again, both these guys need to make rounds. Ernie driving that one gone dog 56, which has such a rich history in the gasser stuff. A good launch, but it looks to me like Tim is driving around.
That is the best run I believe I've seen Tim Greer make in 2017, and he's waited till a great time to do it. Absolutely got beat on the line right there, but man, look, he got killed on the tree, and just a awesome pass by the Rambler.
Wayne's less horsepower saving the day.
Ernie, one gone dog, brother. I tell you, it's been a topsy-turvy year for you. You know, you've won races in this car. You've made rounds in this car. And unfortunately, you know, the season is coming to a close. This is the last race of 2017, and all we can do is look forward to 2018. And I understand that there could be some changes in this car, maybe. Got plans trying to put a deal together on your own, maybe.
Well, we're trying to put together a better motor deal, maybe go out on my own there with some motor stuff. Sonny's gave me a figure of the money we need to come up with to run this thing. So, you know, we're just going to play it by ear, go day by day.
Tim Greer, bona fide Rambler, brother, none other, making rounds out here the last race of 2017.
That's right. Greenwood Auto Parts.
That made all the difference.
Exactly right.
And could that maybe be the one Wayne Schless Racing Engines at Greenwood Auto?
That's what that is. And the high tower transmission, you know, you got to talk about all your sponsors when you're over here.
Well, this is true.
I sell garages, too.
The hitman, Jared Bailey, going to be the beneficiary of a competition single right here in that beautiful 41 Studebaker.
Good-looking launch, good-looking run, David. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Just trying to get lane choice for round 3.
I really like that front-on shot right there. You can see those wheels get in the air. A little bit of a slight correction, and he's going to move on.
Donovan, it's been quite a road. Maybe not as big a challenge as it was in 2016, but nonetheless a challenge, and you came out on top.
Yeah, it's been a really phenomenal year. And of course, first thanks goes to God. You know, my old prayer is just, Lord, I don't care if I win, just keep me safe. And He's definitely done that all year. Got to thank all my sponsors for helping me this year. BD Amsoil, Pottery Farms, Barn Farm, all the guys that back me. You know, I couldn't be here without them. And you know, to have some backing like that gives you more drive and support to know that people are behind you and that they want to see you win. And so going with this year with them, it's been a breeze, to be quite honest. Everything worked out great, and I guess the old saying, the turtle wins a race every now and then.
Well, I was doing an interview with your engine builder, Wayne Sless, a little earlier, and it's like I told him, horsepower is not the only mark of a good engine builder. Dependability and durability is. And there's one thing for certain, you've been able to depend on this whole race car this year, certainly including the engine in that, and I think that's had obviously a part of your championship year.
Oh, absolutely. It's been nothing but consistent this year. We did a lot of testing last year trying to find those little pieces of horsepower. Some of it paid off, some didn't, but it turns out that consistency is better than an ET any day.
Still planning to run the Anglia next year? Everything just going to be the same, just more of it?
Depending on what the finances are over the year, I'd love to build a new chassis with the same old GK Bernard body. That would be phenomenal if we can get some money behind it. That way I can make some sense of it. But absolutely, Wayne Sless engines, race engines, I mean, it'll be there for sure this winter, and the white trash will be back, but maybe have some new underwear on.
Not quite as trashy.
Not quite as trashy.
A-gas action right here. Donovan Stott versus Gabriel Burrell. Cousin versus cousin right here.
Going to be a good race, David. These two guys have met up so many times this year and last year as well. Laura Owen up here trying to get Gabriel in just the right spot. Now, I'm going to say this. Gabriel is without question getting better, getting faster. He does have a shot at Donovan here on a good, clean drag race. I do think Gabriel out-qualified Donovan by just a small margin. So this is just going to be a good old drag race right here, and let the chips fall where they may.
Gabriel Burrell, you saw the red light right there leaving way too soon, as that competition between those two is very intense. And he definitely is trying to get the drop on that white track.
I understand where Gabriel's coming from here, as you can see in this side shot. Gabriel wants that win against Donovan, and he needs it. Going in now, Kenneth Phillips, Gary Klein, another going to be a good drag race. Gary Klein making rounds today. Not necessarily common for Gary. Great drag racer, one of my heroes from the past, but he is up against one tough opponent, David.
He is, and Gary Klein in that beautiful Willys right there, the Tasmanian Devil. Kenneth Phillips.
Both cars here. Let's see, Kenneth making a mistake here. Gary Klein rolling on in. Has the option of taking advantage of, and he does. Gary Klein taking advantage of Kenneth's mistake, and maybe our side cameras, maybe our starting line camera caught what went on here, David.
There it is. There you see him pulling forward to get into the stage beams, and then going a little too far, and then having to come back. And when he comes back, that is where he messes up, and Gary Klein moves on to the win.
Tasmanian Devil, we just took out a juggernaut in Kenneth Phillips. Oh my God, regardless of how, you go into the third round.
Hey, I needed this. I never thought I'd ever think about a point in my life, but me and the Little Red Wagon's been locked in for quite a while now, and I needed to go one more round, and the good Lord's looked after me today, and that's all I can say.
The scare lane of Jeff Jacobson right there in the right lane, and Barry Lynn out of Greer, South Carolina in the left lane.
As we've said before, Jeff and his wife Amanda, pregnant, got a baby on the way, will be their first one. Traveling a long ways out of Wisconsin. I'm sure he is here with intentions of making that travel worth it. Barry Lynn, a great local guy. They do, him and his wife, so much for the Southeast Gassers Association, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, whichever way you want to put it. Now, a great drag race Ford Chevrolet A big 427 in Barry's car, and David, what an engine in that scare lane. The old Ford single overhead cam. I mean, an absolute artful masterpiece when you raise the hood and making horsepower too, brother.
It is, and look at those beautiful red lines on both of these cars. Wheels up lead by both cars. Looks like Jeff Jacobson a little bit of an advantage right there. And that scare lane with that overhead cam engine drives on to victory.
Absolutely. Look at the power it's making that car yanking the front wheels, dancing the rear end. Beautiful drag race. I could watch these kinds all day long, David.
And that's what makes the Southeast Gassers such a popular item. And Alan Gaulden in that 61 Corvette is going to be up next. He'll be on a bye run as he was our #1 qualifier here for this event.
That is, David. That first shot we was looking at showing that fuel cell snuck up in where the grill used to be in that Corvette. There it is again, so obvious and so original to the Gasser car's front end in the air. Good drag racer run down the track, running for lane choice.
High Power Transmission stepping up their investment or advertisement within the Southeast Gassers Association again this year by increasing some of their financial support that they've been providing to the Southeast Gassers Association. So thank you yet again, gentlemen. We certainly appreciate your involvement.
What brings you to a Southeast Gassers Association event?
First time ever coming, but I love it. But I've never been to one, and I hate it. I've missed a lot of fun.
I just like the old school stuff. Carburetors where it's at.
True Gassers.
Hey, there's good people here, buddy. These are my kind of people.
I'm loving it.
Moving on into the third round of Degas action, there you see Josh Pruitt, no stranger to the third round, taking on Doug Capps in that 65 Mustang.
David, Doug Capps, he is up against a race winner right here, Josh Pruitt. Josh has proven his capabilities at his young age of being able to drive this car and drive it with perfection. No doubt he is going to be one tough drag racing competitor as the years go by. Doug Capps, there again, he is ready. Not necessarily found Doug in the latter rounds of the Degas competition previously, but the Mustang is making some good stout runs today, David.
And there you see it getting ready and staged up, and looks like Doug Capps with a little bit of advantage off the starting line. Man, it's going to be a tough race, looking close at the end of the racetrack, and Doug Capps pulls out the W right here.
I'm going to go ahead and call that a surprise or an upset victory over Josh, David. That I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Doug Capps won it. Doug Capps earned it. But I got to say, that was a surprising win.
It really was the little baby hole shot right there, and that proved to be the margin of victory, that little baby hole shot he had.
Cynthia Phillips coming up in the Flower Power and taking on none other than the Double X. There you see him, Todd Oden, 2017 Degas champion by a mile. This car has won everything imaginable and has been such a threat to everyone. Now, Cynthia, she has made 2 solid rounds with no trouble. That car displaying horsepower and performance, being pulled into the lights by Pam Burrell. This could be another upset victory against Todd Oden. If Cynthia can do her job as a driver on this tree, Todd was flickering the light a little bit, and Cynthia was a cocked gun, I can bet you, and she left with a solid red, handing that win over to good old Todd Oden.
Yeah, you got to know she knew that she had to go in there thin and beat him on the line right there. Just as Todd Oden won in round 2 by benefit of the red light, he takes it again here, so his reputation precedes him.
Absolutely it does. Alfred Adams in the Rolling Dice 55. I tell you, cool old car, David. I love the paint, love the color on this thing. Taking him a bye run, just easing on down the racetrack. He's going to be ready for the final.
Seagas round 3, there's the Bad Banana Rusty Samson going to take on the Hitman, Jared Bailey out of Southern Pines, North Carolina.
That got also a little shot of Doug Trenholm back there, David, as those cars was pulling up. Doug being the official photographer for the Southeast Gassers Association. Now, Hitman Jared Bailey, this is one gorgeous race car, if you want to talk about it in that way, but he has got the Bad Banana over in the right-hand lane, and I tell you, Rusty is on a tear today. He wants to win this drag race. He knows that he had to win it to be the champion. He cannot be the champion, as that has already been closed, but he still wants to win this drag race.
Good shot right there. Both cars on the back of the line getting set right there. Rusty Samson takes off. Got to think some kind of starting line malfunction for Jared Bailey.
Something going wrong without a doubt there, David. Not sure what it was. Both cars pulled in. Rusty pulling in. Here you see cars launched. Something had to go wrong with Jared there.
Bad Banana is making rounds and may win this race, and that's not a long shot by no stretch of the imagination.
No, it's running pretty good. I don't know what happened to Jared. I never saw him, but feels good. The car's running pretty good. I kicked it out of gear there at the end, but we'll see. Everybody's tough from here on out. There's not going to be anything easy. Doug just went out. I saw he went out. So, we can outlive him, even though we didn't win the championship. So we'll see what happens.
Good interview right there with Rusty Samson. Now, Todd Blackwell going to be taking on Doug Dobbins, our newly crowned Seagas World Champion, right here in the next matchup.
Absolutely, David. Congratulations to Doug. What a battle these guys fought this year. This was some of the greatest drag racing that I have ever seen in my life, and that is no joke. Now, Todd Blackwell getting ready to roll that bad slingshot into the beams and take on the 2017 Seagas champion. Who's going to win? These guys have met before. At the last race, Doug came out on top. Is he able to do it 2 in a row against that slingshot Chevy 2? A good launch for both cars, and Todd is gone.
Wheels up in the air on the 1-2 shift right there for Blackwell. Man, look at that car pulling up all that horsepower.
I tell you, when you pull away from Doug Dobbins, something is either wrong with his car or you are making some major horsepower, David.
Good shot right here at the top end as you see both cars go through.
Todd Blackwell, I'm going to tell you, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't know what's going to happen if you're driving a full season next year, because you have been a serious spoiler to the points championship and just took out the 2017 champion.
Man, oh man, I'm telling you, getting up beside him is never not nerve-wracking. He's definitely a contender, and congratulations to him. I think that he's got the 2017 championship.
That is secured. He secured that by winning the second round.
Yeah, and since I'm wasn't a contender in it, I'm glad that me beating him didn't have any effect on that. So congratulations to him, and I hope that we can have some good luck tonight.
Continuing on Seagas, there you see Jimmy Huff in the hoopty wagon taking on the Rambler of Tim Greer's.
David, this right here, Tim Greer, Jimmy Huff, both of these guys, I'm going to say, are a little bit surprised to find themselves in these latter rounds. Now, Huff, he has fought this old wagon tooth and nail all year long. Tim Greer, similar story. Tim Greer even missing 2 or 3 events, I'm not sure the total number. Engine plagues, various issues back and forth, wound up with this thing over at Wayne Sless. Tim Greer did. Jimmy Huff doing his own engine work, and as I was talking to him earlier, him and his dad put that engine together last night, didn't even start it until they got to the racetrack. And I'm telling you, that Huff horsepower has just came alive.
Man, the Huff horsepower pulls them off the ground in first and second gear. And we know how good Tim Greer was running today, but just too much Jimmy Huff horsepower right here. But a great 2017 final for Tim Greer.
That it is. Huff going on to the win, and Tim Greer should be a contender in 2018.
Jimmy Huff, the old hoopty wagon, buddy, I tell you, this dude is making rounds, my man.
That's the wildest it's ever left right there. I don't know how high it pulled the tires that time, but it'll really lift them up first and second gear both.
Well, I can tell you from my perspective down here, it was really high. This is the best place to watch a drag race, trust me. The sights and the sounds is second to nothing. But the big deal is, hoopty wagon going in the 4th round eliminations, this could be a race win for you.
It could be. I'd hope so. It'd be nice.
David, MTO Motors finding value in advertising with the Southeast Gassers and providing some financial support to the Southeast Gassers Association this year. Wanted to make sure and say a great big thanks to those guys. Certainly appreciate your involvement.
Degas semifinals, there's Alfred Adams out of Clover, South Carolina, and big Double X Todd Oden burning him down, waiting on his dad Lester to let him go.
David, when we was talking with Alfred at the last race in Myrtle Beach, he was talking about he had brought in some old drag racers to help him out, and I tell you what, they better be helping him right now, because Todd Oden is his opponent in this round, and that Double X 58 Chevrolet, I tell you, would love nothing more than to leave that 55 sitting on the starting line, and it is time. Here they go. A great launch for both cars, both clean, gears are changing, and Alfred Adams is pulling away.
Alfred Adams for the win right there over big Double X Todd Oden. And I got to tell you, that's a little bit of a shocker for me as he just drives that car right through the top end. Great job by, there you see Adams Auto Sales right there on the side. Alfred Adams moves on to the finals.
Alfred, my brother, I hear you. The old rolling dice 55 Chevrolet, she is just making tracks out here today. And
I can't believe it. A 007, that's the best line I've ever cut in my life.
Well, that's a good line, but the big deal is you going into the final round.
Yeah, I know it. I can't believe that either. But I'm ready. I'm a little shaky.
And there's Doug Capps. He's going to be on a single in that 65 Mustang.
David, this is just a run for Doug to try and hone his perfection here. He has made it to the final round. This being a bye run, that puts him straight into the finals. No questions there. He needs a hard launch. He needs lane choice, and he needs to perfect his way of getting that Mustang down the racetrack.
David, want to make a special shout out to Ron Pope Motorsports. Those guys stepped up at this final event for Shadyside and providing a little bit of financial support to the Southeast Gassers Association and getting them a little bit of advertisement out of this deal. So we hope that goes a long way with you, Ron Pope. Thank you much, brother. We certainly appreciate it.
Monumental matchup right here. Rusty Samson, Todd Blackwell, Seagas semifinals at Shadyside Dragway.
David, if Rusty ever needed to win a drag race and rely on his dad and old Speed Dietrich, I believe was the gentleman's name that was a partner to his dad on that 55 Chevrolet, it is now when he needs to draw on the spirit of those two guys in the Bad Banana 55 Chevrolet. Here we see Brittany Gilbert. She is the sister to Todd Blackwell, pulling Todd into the starting line beams up here. This is going to be a drag race because Rusty wants to prove his point that he was in fact capable of winning the Seagas Championship, and he needed to be able to win this drag race with a major hole shot on Todd Blackwell and the performance of that Bad Banana 55. He has just done that, taken out the Goliath.
Look at that hole shot right there. I mean, that is monumental. And that car went as straight as I've ever seen it go. And with all the people sashaying around in A-gas, Rusty Samson had that car set perfectly for this race.
That he did, and he needed it to outrun that car. My Lord, David, what a win.
That's all right, Rusty. I know there's a lot of emotion and sympathy in this old hot rod. Like I said, Jack and Speed, they're along for the ride. And what a ride the old Bad Banana's on today. My gosh, man, she's on a tear.
I don't remember that run at all, but I swear to God, I don't. I went through that thing and I come across the finish line and my wind light come on. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. We're in the final.
Jimmy Huff's going to be on a bye right here. He'll move right into the final round. Let's see if he'll run it all the way through for the performance or if he will just ease it on down through there. Looks like he left the line hard and he's going to ease it on out the top end and move on to the finals. A-Gas semifinals right here. Alan Gaulden, Land O'Lakes, Florida, taking on Columbus, North Carolina's Donovan Stott.
David, these two guys have met before, and unfortunately Donovan came out on the losing end. They were at Darlington. Alan Gaulden driving this Corvette to its first victory, him being backed up by the very capable Phil Roberts. Now, here comes Donovan back, Megan Phillips in front of him. Trust you me, Megan knows exactly where Donovan wants to be with that race car. She has been a stalwart. She's been in front of this car so many times, very capable. She knows how to help that boy win a drag race. You can bet on the precision of what those two do together. Now, here we go, David. These guys are ready to do battle. They love drag racing each other. They have fun. They're great friends off the racetrack. But right now they are mortal enemies, and I can tell you Donovan needs to win this round because he owes one to Alan Gaulden.
Little staging duel going on right here now. Both lights coming on for Donovan Stott. In the pre-stage now, we're staged up, ready to go. Both cars, wow, look at them move around on the racetrack. Drivers gathering them in, and who's it going to be? Alan Gaulden at the top end.
No doubt, David. As we was talking before, look at how these cars have to be driven, especially in a gas. That's why we call them the kings of the Southeast Gassers Association. You can see Donovan's car literally in a power slide, and adding to the fact of what Quain had said, wanting to put the driver back in that car. This being a top-end view where I was standing, David, the greatest seat in the house. Listen and look at these two cars perform.
Alan Golden, you're back in the old frequent flyer Corvette yet again and making rounds, taking out the 2017 points champion Donovan Stott. And hey, this ain't the first time you've outrun that boy.
It was a great race. I love racing Donovan. We were cutting up on the starting line and just having fun. And I didn't think we were going to get him, but we got lucky.
From my perspective, that was a pretty good drag race. Looked like both cars was really all over the place. He had trouble coming out of the gate. You looked like you was drifting the center line down track. So it was a good race from my viewpoint, and I got it on film from down here, so it may make some excellent footage. We'll be looking for you in the next round.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jeff Jacobson in that 55 fair lane going to take on Gary Klein in the Tasmanian Devil. And Mitch, Gary Klein's been in that left lane all day. He has really liked it.
That he has, David. That seems to be kind of fitting for Gary over there. This car, again, he's kind of finding himself in the later rounds, which is a little bit unusual for Gary, and quite frankly, I'm happy to see it. Now, over here in the right lane, the 55 fair lane, or scare lane as they refer to it, these guys coming from Wisconsin, Jeff Jacobson, his wife Amanda, these guys are drag racers, and the engine in this car is a sight to behold. That old single overhead cam Ford engine, can't talk about it enough, and it makes power. Now, Gary Klein has got a job on his hand right here if he plans on making it to the finals.
Big hole shot advantage right there for Jeff Jacobson. Looks like Gary Klein has trouble. Jacobson skating around as we saw Donovan Stott and him do. He gathers it in and moves on to the finals where he'll take on Alan Golden.
And still changing gears, David. That will show you the aggression and the desire to win in these guys. These cars out of shape, but they still pulling on that stick.
Jeff Jacobson, you might be a long ways from home, but the old scare lane is making rounds.
The scare lane is working good today. I'm real happy with it so far.
So you think it enjoyed the ride down here from up in that, what is it, Wisconsin?
Beloit, Wisconsin.
And so maybe that long ride down here, I understand y'all went through all kinds of rain and everything else. Maybe it's just what the old scare lane needed was a good rest.
I think so. I don't know what to think. She's been neglected the last couple weeks of parking her in the trailer because we've had nothing but problems all year. But
and you and the wife have a new baby on the way, so maybe Scare Lane's a little jealous and decided I'm going to really show out.
I think the Scare Lane's definitely jealous. She ain't been getting as much attention.
Degas final, Mitch. Here it is for all the marbles in Degas. Alfred Adams in that 55 Chevy gonna take on Doug Capps in that Mustang.
David, this is the final round of Degas competition for 2017. The championship has been decided. That going to Todd Oden. Now we've got one final drag race for Degas competition left. Alfred Adams, Doug Capps, Ford versus Chevrolet. This should be a classic matchup, a great drag race for everyone who came. All those fans that you see in the background still standing there for the final rounds of this race. That shows you the dedicated legion of people who love to see what we do. This is going to be a great matchup for them to think about all winter long, David.
And a long winter it may be, as both cars in the pre-stage right now. Nobody wanting to get into the stage beams. A little bit of gamesmanship right here on the line by both drivers. Let's see who it'll be first, Mitch.
That is where you can win a drag race right there, David. Take it from me. Those starting line tactics, that is part of the game. And here we go. Doug Capps a cleaner launch than Alfred, and that just sealed the fate for Alfred Adams. And Doug Capps taking that final C-Gas win home from Shadyside.
Very true right there, Mitch. Looked like on the 1-2 shift, looked like something went wrong for Adams, and that was all that Doug Capps needed to drive on to victory.
That it was another good launch from that starting line camera that we got going there, David. That just shows the violence when these cars hit that clutch and how quick they move.
Doug Capps, my brother, you have won Degas in the old Mustang. Good job. First time final round victory in the Southeast Gassers.
Finally.
Finally got
Yeah. Man. There's some luck today, I believe.
Well, you can call it luck, but let me tell you, you took out some good cars. There's no doubt about it. You know, the path may have been cleared a little bit on the other side of the ladder, but that's irrelevant to the point. You just took out the guy who beat a lot of the tough cars on the other side of the ladder, so that's a righteous win, Doug. Great job. We'll see you in the winner's circle.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations from BDMs on your win. Give us a call. You get $100 worth of free product, okay?
I can use it. Thanks. You're welcome. I'd like to thank God first of all for giving me the opportunity to do this. Really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Doug. We are so pleased that you're here in the Southeast Gassers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Doug Caps. Jimmy Huff making his way around the corner with the lights on here because the stars of the Southeast Gassers are now out. Rusty Samson, you see right there, this is your C-Gas final.
David, this again, final round for C-Gas competition in 2017. That championship already decided. Doug Dobbins, the victor of that. Congratulations to him once again. And let me tell you something. I just looking at Rusty pulling around through there. You can see them old white fender well headers laid up in that 55. So much of this is so retrospective, so exact to 1960s drag racing in the gasser categories. People still standing here to watch this. Ted Chavaria trying to get Jimmy Huff lined up, and believe me, it is critical on both of these cars because they're both going to leave hard wheels up, and they're going to depend on as straight line as possible to outrun their opponent because either of these two cars is very capable of winning, and this would be Jimmy Huff's first win. Trust me, I know he wants it.
Good lead right there. Jimmy Huff gets the wheels in the air in the first two gears, gets him out of the groove. Rusty Samson keeps it in the groove and moves on to victory. And there you see his wife Sharon elated with the victory, receiving congratulations from Tom White and the Burch, Joey Burch right there. And Sharon Samson just celebrating on the line.
That is a great shot right there, David. Congratulations to Rusty. So proud of him. And I got to tell you, I am tickled to death with Jimmy Huff's competition today. He has been there. He didn't win the race, but I tell you, he has made a believer out of the Ford fans and that hoop-de-wagon.
Well, the bad banana's got his earplugs out, so I know he can hear me now. Rusty Samson, you just won the final race of 2017 in the C-Gas competition.
That's huge. That is huge. You know, I mean, we won the battle, we didn't win the war, but that's okay. I'll take this. This'll help the winter go a lot better with when taking the last race of the year. This car was hurt, and but it ran like a thoroughbred. It really did. I had no high gear. Probably the last three runs, and I just let it eat out the traps, and it had its tongue hanging out, but you know what? It did it. The motor sounds good. I think it's ready for another one.
Rusty and Sharon Samson, man, look at you putting it back in victory lane again. What a wonderful day for you guys.
Yes, it was pretty awesome. Big crowd of cars here. The best cars in the country were here, and you know, somehow we got around them all. I don't know how we did it, but it's kind of a blur. I can't wait to see the video to see how it actually went down because I don't remember much of it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You run a mechanical fuel injection, don't you?
That's correct. Yeah, we won it with injection today. Yep. Yes, we did.
Well, there's somebody here that made a little promise a long time ago that he'd give $100 to the winner of any category if I can get unstuck from the VHT here, and that's Mr. Ronnie Sandhuff, and he's going to give you $100 to help you get down the road.
This is the second time he's took my $100. Congratulations.
All right, Ryan, I appreciate it.
David, it's A-Gas Kings of the Sport final round brought to you by Universal Finance in Forest City, North Carolina.
I want you to look at these two beautiful cars right here. You know, Jeff Jacobson, the auto body man in that 55 Ford Fairlane that they call the Scare Lane, and he's coming over here taking on the Land O'Lakes, Florida runner in that 1961 Corvette of Alan Gaulden.
David, these two guys, the championship for A-Gas has already been settled. No questions there. Donovan Stott taking the reins of that this year. Now, this is just a drag race, as we've said before. Classic Ford Chevrolet matchup for the fans to chew on all winter long. Talking about how good the Southeast Gassers, the fans still there. Phil Robertson looking over, making sure that the opponent is ready. Here we come, Jeff Jacobson rolling in. Final round, last pair of cars for the Southeast Gassers Association 2017. David, this race is going to be magical.
It sure is. They're taking a little bit of time getting in here. Don't know if they're going to do a little staging do. It looks like both of them are in the pre-stage, and I love those headlights working on these cars.
Allen coming in last. He's going to push in, depend on a quick tree to launch out of there. Those cars are out. Allen got the jump. Looked like Jeff may be having a little bit of traction issue. The Corvette is done and clean, and look at the celebrations there.
Man, you were exactly right, though, Mitch. That car was spinning down low for Jeff Jacobson, and he was just unable to catch up after Allen Galdem had a good light and was gone.
That win right there goes to the Chevrolet camp. David, watch from this angle. You can see Jeff's car spinning. The car initially hit, didn't move, but you could also see the same violence over there in the other lane. That is it for 2017. I got to send out a great big thank you to Larry Turner, Sunoco Race Fuels, for stepping up and really helping to support the Southeast Gassers Association.
2 wins, new car, new team. I mean, brother, I don't know how you can ever top this.
I'm happy. I mean, we come here and struggle with the car. It throws a bunch of curveballs, but we just work with it, and I'm just happy to be here. We're just happy to make it to the final round and actually win one, and I love racing Donovan. He's got to be the best guy I've raced in my life. It's so fun to race him, but I'm just glad to be a part of the Gassers Association, and hope we can do some more.
Car owner Dave got to be happy. Old Phil Robinson up here, he's got to be just ear to ear, because when he came in here today, he told me, he said, you know, we're going to win this race. He said, we didn't drive up here to take second. He said, we come to win this race. And I said, well, that's exactly how I always left on, Phil. So, you know, more power to you, boys. Go do it. And dadgum if y'all haven't done it.
Yeah, thank God. Give him the glory for this race, and I'm glad Phil was here for this race. He wasn't at the other race that we got lucky and won there in Darlington, but I'm glad he was here, and we're having a great time running this series, and I'm just glad we could get this win for our team.
Well, there's no question y'all have proven to be a very formidable team. We'll see you in the winner's circle, and most of all, we hope to see you in 2018.
Thank you very much.
Man, multiple victories here in A-Gas. That is no easy accomplishment, and you're running a limited schedule with us this year.
Yeah, we've been working on the car. Every time we think we figure something out, it throws us a curveball and does something different, and so we're still working on it, and every once in a while it does something right, and we get lucky and win one.
I don't know too much about that luck. Yeah, you're doing a great job behind that wheel and putting out a lot of horsepower. I know you got a lot of people you want to thank here for this victory today.
Yeah, I want to thank the Southeast Gassers, Sunoco, Ram Clutches, Alky Digger. Thank Donovan for that good race we had. And thank Dave and Phil. I'm glad both of them could be here for this race, and they give me a good car, and it helps a bunch.
Also, don't want to forget, you're running an injection too, and I got Mr. Sandhuff over here. He's got another Chris Benjamin Franklin for you.
All right, that sounds good.
Ronnie Sandhuff, let's bring it on in here and pay this man off.
Alan, didn't meet you last time, but I mailed it to you, and here's this time.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you running fuel injection.
Oh, we love it. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much. Congratulations, Alan.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
David, it's finally come to a close, brother. 2017 is done and over with. The champions are crowned, and, you know, at this point, it's looking forward to 2018. But before we can officially do that, we've got to take a quick reflection on 2017.
What a class Degas was this year for me. Todd Oden totally dominated that class. Saw the emergence of Josh Pruitt, so who knows what that's going to be for next year. We're hearing that there's going to be an A-Gas car, a 56 Chevy, brought out to run A-Gas, and Todd Oden's going to run 2 classes, so who knows what that's going to bring.
Yeah, definitely the Oden, father and son Oden team, they're going to definitely be a threat, I'm sure, in A-Gas, because that is their plan. They're going to run both categories. Todd's going to drive in both cars. That's going to be double duty for him. That could be good, could be bad. I've seen it go both ways in the past. Now then, C-Gas, what an ending. My Lord, what an ending.
Yeah, we couldn't ask for better drama than to have Jerry Burch, Doug Dobbins go down to it. Second year in a row, Jerry Burch has come up just a little bit short. Got to know they're going to have a fire in their belly for 2018. 2018 to take that Seagas championship.
They do, David, and to me, the biggest story of Seagas, I was talking with Rusty Samson before this race started. Rusty had to win this event, and Doug or Jerry both had to go out by or before the second round. And all at that point, Rusty had to do was win the race. Well, Rusty done his part. He won the race, an emotional win, and I'm telling you, the old bad 55 was just bad all day long.
It sure was, and Sharon said it best. It is a bad banana, and I'm telling you, Rusty did a wonderful job today. Can't say enough about how competitive our Seagas was this year. Maybe you could argue that was the most competitive class in the whole Southeast Gassers.
Well, and I think the points tightness showed that, and which leads us on now to A-Gas. Donovan Stott obviously cinched the championship by showing up at this race. At that point, it was over and done. All he had to do was basically pull into the staging lanes to earn his entry points. Therefore, it was over. So that crowned him 17 champion. Great job on him. And we had some other special things went on today, David. We had, Turtle Man and Moonshiner Josh here. They had a little race of their own in trucks this evening. That was kind of unique in and of itself. We had the firing of the cannon after the national anthem. David Bauer and his family, Boo Boo, his wife, which actually the cannon was her father's, and then a gentleman by the name of Benny was with them who actually helped them restore that thing. Actually helped her father build it originally. All kinds of history going on here today. And then we had Gordy Faust, an old hero of mine, our Grand Marshal. What a history he has behind him. I mean, the close for the Southeast Gassers 2017 Shadyside Dragway, just in my mind, couldn't have been any more better. House packed full. Thousands of people here watching. Talk about a successful day, a successful season, and a successful group of racers.
Yeah, it really was. The stands were absolutely jam-packed. We had kids here from 8 to people.
8 to 80.
Yeah, we really did. We had Korean War veterans. We had World War II veterans here, and we're able to recognize those people as Veterans Day is coming up. And it was awfully nice to see them. And they said the same thing that all our fans say. We love the 4 speeds. We loved all this. 2018 is just going to get bigger. I am jacked and can't wait till we put out the schedule.
Well, the schedule is one thing, but there's so much big news. It's going to come along in 2018. Such major changes for the Southeast Gassers Association. Big things, believe you me, and we're so excited about them. And I think it's just going to make this whole thing more available across the nation and across the world. And it's just the perfect storm, it seems. And the Southeast Gassers Association is just so blessed.
We are extremely blessed, and with talent up and down the roster, and people who believe in what we're doing, and Quayne Stott to lead that way. It's just very exciting.
Well, I've said it many times, Quayne he kind of started out guiding this thing. Now he's kind of like a tiger holding on to its tail. But he's doing a wonderful job, and it is a full-time job because it is growing in such ways. But again, David, 2018, I want to make sure that everybody knows. Stay with us, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of these things that I can't keep up with, being the 53-year-old I am. But the point is there's all kinds of information. There's going to be so many things happening.
That's right. Check out our website, southeastgassers.com. If you guys are thinking about building a car, you can find all the rules right there, as well as our social media presence is huge on Instagram and on Facebook. It's just Southeast Gassers Association. And we have one that's Friends of the Southeast Gassers Association for our fans, that people who want to keep up with everything. So we're hitting social media hard, plus the YouTube videos that we're producing right here. We got people that were here today from Canada. We got people from Texas. We all over the map who are here today.
Yep. Very good, David. And as always, this is our final race of the season. We're going to close with prayer. I've also got a Bible verse that I want to read, and I hope that everybody in earshot of us, is aware of that and listens to it and adheres to that. Because as a Christian, my heart goes out to everyone in the world. I have a burden for their savings of grace through Jesus Christ. And so, anyway, we will start out with reading my Bible verse. And it's just a very short one. It's Revelations 3:22, and it says, "He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches." And David, that is my prayer as we close this season, that everyone who has watched and come to and been a part of the Southeast Gassers Association, that they will lend their ear to the Spirit that saith unto the churches. And with that, David, take us out of here in prayer.
I'd be glad to, Mitch. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for all the blessings that you've given us. We pray that people will have receptive ears to hear your word for your salvation through the blood that your Son, Jesus Christ, spilled on the cross for us. Lord, we thank you for all the traveling mercies that all our fans and everyone who have come here to see us have been given by you. And Lord, let us be a light into this world that we may shine your glory everywhere that we go. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.